Now this video is going to be a little uncomfortable for some people because it's going to shine light on something that a lot of people are doing wrong. But it's important that you watch this video till the end and you really pay close attention to what I'm going to outline in the next few minutes that we have together. Because if you don't fix this one thing, you're never going to be wealthy. You are never going to make a lot of money. You are never going to have the financial freedom that you want. And a lot of people, there's basically two pieces. There's only really two pieces. If you take all this, guys, I've done it all. I've gone to all the seminars. I've read all the books. I keep reading the books, and I like to listen to books on audio and go through programs and listen to self-improvement. But if you strip out all the bullshit, there's kind of just two pieces of the puzzle you got to get in order to become wealthy. But the thing is, you have to have both pieces of the puzzle. I see a lot of people doing one piece of the puzzle and they neglect the other piece of the puzzle. So let me explain what this is. And if this is a little uncomfortable for you, if this is going to pull, if this is going to maybe change the way you think and view life, that's okay. Just accept it and realize that moving forward, hey, you're going about this a better way. And now, moving forward, after you watch this video till the end, you now are doing what you need to do to get wealthy. So, there's this quote by Abraham Lincoln that says, "Give me 6 hours to cut down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe." So let's really dive into this because you have to get this or else you are never going to become rich. Let me read the quote again first. I want you to get this. "Give me 6 hours to cut down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe." So what's this mean? Abraham Lincoln is saying that if he is going to, let's say there's a forest and he needs to chop down some trees. If he's going to chop down some trees and he has 6 hours, he's going to spend the first 4 hours sharpening his axe. Now what happens if he didn't do that? Let's look at both sides. If he didn't do that and he just started taking action, and he just went out there and he just started, bam, hammering away at the tree. I guess he's not hammering, he's axing away at the tree, right? Well, the axe is going to be dull. So he's going to have to exert more effort than necessary to cut down the tree. And depending on how dull the axe is, he might not even get the tree cut down. All right? But then let's look at the other side. The flip side is he spends the whole 6 hours sharpening his axe. He gets his axe super duper unbelievably sharp. However, if he never takes the axe to the forest and hits the tree, sharpening the axe doesn't do any good. You have to do both. You have to sharpen, you have to spend time sharpening the axe so it's easier to cut down trees, but you also must spend time actually going to the forest and taking the actions you need to take to cut down the trees, which is, probably an action like this, right? Not taking that axe and fucking knocking taking that tree down. What I see a lot of people do is I see a lot of people spend the whole time sharpening the axe but never cutting down the tree. I see lots of people spending their whole time as they're trying to get rich, going through videos, going through workshops, reading books, which is needed, which is important, but that's only 50% of the puzzle. If all you do is spend your whole time improving your mind, which you need to do, but you never take any action, you're never going to get rich. All you're going to do is, if you keep going down that path, you're going to eventually die, laying on your deathbed saying, hey, I know all this information, but I never put it into place. I never took any action. I never used it to create something to create money. On the flip side, I know people, and this is a little bit rare, but this is me. I'm the kind of person, I just want to take action. Action, 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 action. Well, that's not the right way to go about it either. If you just take a bunch of action, you're going to be spending a lot of time doing things that aren't going to be productive. And I've done it. I've spent lots of time doing things, taking actions, trying to put assets into place that simply did not give me anything and not produce anything because I didn't spend time sharpening the axe. I didn't spend time doing the research that I needed to do and making sure that, hey, are these actions that I'm going to take actually going to produce get me to a point and produce the result that I want. So you have to do both. You have to spend time sharpening the axe, and then you also have to spend time taking the actions. So what I've done, what I do personally, because I know a lot of people are going to want to know what I do, is I do about half and half. And sometimes what I'll do is, if I'm getting started on a new project, I will spend maybe the first few days spending the majority of the time sharpening the axe, going through the information, understanding the principles before I take action. Then, once I understand some principles, I'll go take some action. Then I'll take some action, and then I'll go back and I'll learn. And I'll spend some more time sharpening the axe. And then I'll go out there and I'll cut down the trees. So I do a little bit of both. And then sometimes I'll get to the point to where, I might spend a week. I'll be like, all right, I spent a good amount of time sharpening the axe. I know what to do. Now I'm just going to spend a week straight cutting down the trees. But usually it's about 50-50, but sometimes it gets divided, a little bit more. One day is leaning towards something, a little bit more the other day is leaning towards something, or is leaning towards the other thing. But I have an awareness in my mind. You want to develop an awareness that says, all right, when you're doing something, is this sharpening the axe, or is this cutting down the tree? And whatever you're more prone to do, if you're more prone to just sharpening the axe all day, or you're more prone to just taking action, you'll start to develop an awareness that says, you know what? I've sharpened the axe enough. It's time that I stop and I take some action. Or the flip side, I've cut down trees. My axe is getting a little bit dull. Maybe I'm not hitting it the right, maybe I'm not whacking the tree the right way. Let me go sharpen the axe a little bit. So, summing up this video, moving forward, you want to make sure you do what two things? Sharpen the axe, but also make sure that you're cutting down the trees, that you're out there in the forest, in the wilderness, getting your hands dirty, taking the actions you need to get the end result that you want.